to give it all we got. Fans and voices unite the line. This is the place where legends are made high. Welcome to the table, grab your seat, where passion runs wild and the world's all meet. Debate it, play it, live it loud and proud. Gimmick Table Media, we draw the crowd. Oh, 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 oh. Lights, cameras, voices rise from the ring to daily life. Stories clash, opinions fly. We're the spark you can't deny. From the boardroom to the ring, soap dreams and the battles we bring. Cards unfold, the future sings. Gimmick Table, do your thing. We
Are you ready?
together with pride worldwide. This is for the dreamers, rebels and crew, for the fans in the back and the diehards too. Break the chains, let the passion ring. We're calling out hate in the squared off ring. Kicking out at 2, where the love runs deep and the fight stays true. Kicking out at 2, no tribal lines, just respect me and you.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Listen up, wrestling fans! Showing love for your favorites doesn't stop at a t-shirt. If you're heading to a live event, you better be ready for the hard cam. Step up your show day drip with Hard Cam Creations, custom handmade accessories built for the loudest, proudest fans in the building. Whether you're backing a legend or leading your own faction, these pieces make sure you stand out when that camera swings your way. From spectator to certified superfan, it's time to walk to the ring in style. New drops coming soon. Find Hardcam Creations on Etsy and follow at Hardcam Creations on Instagram today.
These days and all those who slay, the wrestling world is moving at full speed, and we've got free agents, blockbuster matchups, AEW All In plans, surprise possibilities, and enough rumors to make your fantasy booking note burst into flames. Welcome to King Out 2. I'm Michael, and he's escaped his own podcast and wandered into ours, and now we're putting him to work. It's Big Mike for the Run In Wrestling Podcast. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm good. Ready to talk some wrestling on a Tuesday. Hopefully, I don't get fired. So we'll see where it goes.
Well, no, I've got to have someone else here. We've done some episodes just me, and nobody wants to see that shit. So,
oh no, trust me, I've done that on our show, and I hate doing episodes by myself. I absolutely hate it.
Yeah, all the respect to CJ. CJ does that all the time, and I don't know how he does. I got a couple people already in chat. We got Christy here, says hello, loves. Hello. We got Herb. Herb, welcome in. He says he's ready.
Herb?
Extreme Chicks here. She says, hey, Michael and Big Mike. Welcome in, you all. All right, we're just going to go ahead and hit straight to the news. All right. So, in case you didn't notice, Malakai Black got a little makeover. Posted a little nice little vignette, and he's completely shaved his head, which honestly I thought he needed to do that a long time ago. That hair was starting to recede back pretty far. So,
join the club, brother.
Yeah, all right. Nothing wrong with it. But he's also one of those wrestlers whose availability is kind of in question at the moment. The interesting part is it isn't simply that he's a free agent; it's that there appears to be interest and past contact, but nothing concrete has developed with anybody. So nothing from MLW, AEW, TNA, not coming back to WWE. No one seems to be picking up on him. There has been rumor of him going to MLW, which I think that'd be a decent fit because you got Killer Cross over there right now. I think they obviously could tear it up a little bit or even work together because the two dark and broody characters together could work out. I always hate playing like the idea of where were they going to go, but where do you think he should end up?
I mean, right now, with everything that's happened between him and AEW and him and WWE at this point, I think he just needs to have an indie run. You know, I mean, don't sign with anybody, essentially. If MLW, I mean, obviously, if you can go MLW and you can still do the GCWs, and all the other alphabet soup of wrestling companies, and just get your name back out there and show everybody how good you are and how good we know you can be. Because man, when he's good, he's freaking awesome.
He really is. And sometimes getting that second chance might be what he needs. I mean, we've seen that with Andrade. Andrade was in AEW, floundered there, went back to WWE, floundered there, and then came back to AEW and found something. He found himself and he started, killing it the way he's doing right now. That's how we all know. You know. But yeah, he could come back there and kill it. But yeah, I think the Indies is a good spot for him. The problem that you have with people like Malakai is the same thing that they had with, in my opinion, the Wyatt family. Is you have this dark, broody character that you have to treat as a special attraction, but at some point the bell's got to ring. It can't be someone who's completely mystic and all that stuff all the time. At some point he's got to get in there and just wrestle. So
Yeah,
how do we
I mean,
do that?
2026 is definitely not the space for the supernatural gimmick. Like, could you imagine the Undertaker coming out in 2026?
Right.
He wouldn't last 2 weeks. As much as we loved him growing up, and as well as he did with that character, kayfabe is at a point now where it's not there.
Well,
Yeah,
at least not
and
in the States. I mean,
yeah,
I say this all the time with some of the gimmicks, like I think the Wyatt family, rather than letting them go, they should have gave him to Taker and had them go down there in
yeah,
AAA. AAA's perfect spot for that stuff
yeah, that
because
would
you
have
can
been
still
great.
do the spooky dooky stuff and have it mean something down there. You can do the stuff that's kind of gimmicky, but in the States, it's people don't buy it. Like it's a cool thing to start, but then after a while, like when they first came out, we had this fancy scene of them going through the backstage, and you had Chad Gable shot in the head, and all these people dead on the way there. And then like 2 weeks later, it's like, well, where are they? What are they doing?
Yeah,
They just kind of disappeared.
yeah. I mean, like you said, at some point the bell's got to ring, and at some point you have to be able to lose a match.
Yeah.
And the mystique of those characters is you can't lose very often as a supernatural character. Otherwise, you're like, okay, well, this just loses all of its luster.
Yeah. Speaking of other wrestlers that may be having some fun here. Hold on. My buttons aren't working for a thing. Go. There is someone who's also getting some attention from MLW, WWE, and potentially TNA. Josh Bishop, which if you don't know who he has been on the indies for a little bit. Lately, he took Baron Corbin, took his spot as one of the skyscrapers. Big, tall dude, is really good in the ring. Reminds me a lot of Sid, but better in the ring. he's pretty good. But apparently he's got some interest, and I'm not surprised at all. Him, first of all, stepping in to step in for Corbin as he walked away. Now, obviously, Corbin went back to the Indies to finish that story out, and he lost the belts, and we'll talk about that later in a different story. But it's cool to see him possibly get that. Corbin moved to WWE. Bishop worked MLW in May and June because of that. Those appearances are still airing, so we haven't even seen all of the stuff that he's in quite yet. But apparently TNA sources have confirmed that the company is interested in him. WWE has also recently gave him a tryout. Kind of the same thing as the speculation is, where do you think this guy should end up?
And I'm not nearly as familiar with him as I am Malachi, but I have seen, when he joined with Dijak, I kind of watched that storyline, what little bit, kind of behind the scenes. But I just, TNA seems to be right. I mean, WWE kind of has a plethora of kind of bigger guys now that are coming in like that. You just had Cass come back, which I don't know if we're going to talk about that, but what are we really doing with him? um,
We're holding him out
you
until
just mentioned,
December.
yeah, I guess where he's just going to beat up cruiserweights after matches for 6 months. That'll speak interest. Um, we just mentioned Corbin coming back, so I don't know that you want to try to throw him in, and even in down in NXT, there's some of that as well. So I think TNA would be a good spot for him. I think they could do a little bit different stuff with him there. I do hate that for Dijak though, because he just lost Corbin. Now he's gonna lose Bishop too.
Yeah.
It's just like as much as I love Dijak, it's just man, he can't seem to hold on to a partner for very long.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. A couple of things that popped in the chat here. So first of all, Bobby showed up. Welcome in, Bobby. Appreciate you here. He says he thinks Bishop should go to TNA. Stampede mentioned that the match Corbin dropped the titles to the Good Brothers was taped. He didn't actually go back there to finish that. So thank you for that clarification. I didn't realize that was a taped episode. That's good to know that WWE still wouldn't let him go back to finish stuff out. But yeah, I mean, if he came to WWE, I think to me the thing that would make sense is do the skyscraper gimmick and just stick him with Corbin. Because what's Corbin gonna do after we're done with this thing with him and Trick? He's still carrying around the fur belt, so I think the end result is eventually Trick gets his belt back. Or else why wouldn't we have changed it by now?
Still carrying. I kind of like the fact that he's still carrying the fur belt. I mentioned this to somebody the other day. I like that it's kind of a slap in the face of Trick. He's keeping the fur belt. I think they did that with Cena after he lost the spinner belt. Like they kept it a spinner belt for like a month or so after that, just because it was a slap in the face kind of thing.
Yeah,
and it makes sense for Corbin to do it because he's like, look, I've still got your belt. I don't want to change it because I want you to look. Every time you look at it, you see how much of a failure you are, or something like that. He could turn that into a gimmick.
Yeah, it definitely could. Yeah, I remember. I think it was Miz was one of the first people that got it from the spinner belt, and then he locked it where the WWE logo was upside down, so it was a Miz belt. I'm like, that's genius. That's a great way to do that. Keep the belt the way it is, but make it your own still. Speaking of WWE though, Roman Reigns, LA Knight, Penta, Miz did a baseball cover. There's all sorts of WWE information going on right now. WrestleVotes votes via Fightful Select reports that the match between LA Knight and WWE World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns is currently being considered. Obviously, what we saw last night on Raw kind of solidified that a little bit. We've got some resurgence of the Bloodline storyline. Before we move on to more WWE news, what do you think about being in the 5th game, 12th inning, double overtime of this storyline?
At least it's a little different now. I mean, it's still the Bloodline. It is what it is. But I like the fact that they have kind of intertwined some other stuff, like Solo doing what he did Monday. I loved that. You finally have somebody saying, you know what, even though I lost this match and whatever, screw you guys, I'm going home, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping he brings Jacob back from the depths of whatever dog pen he's been put in. But I do like the fact that it's different. Roman had started carrying himself a little different, winning everything by himself, so it gave some layers to that character.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the fact that it's just not the same regurgitated storyline exactly.
Yeah,
that we have added some layers and some depth to it.
Well, and I will say it's so weird about the Bloodline storyline because every time we've talked about it on the show, me and Tori, every time I think I'm tired of this story, they do something, and I'm like, okay, I kind of want to see what's going to happen now. And last night did that because you had the whole thing with Solo, and he's, I'm sorry, saying it to LA Knight, ends up spiking him, and the look on Jacob the entire time, and just little things like the Usos got their own black Ulafalas, and the look on Jacob's face, like, what the fuck? I'm the soldier here. I've been doing all this shit. He got lucky on one match. And just like you could see him seething. And then everything happened to Roman and he didn't do anything. So he's following orders. But how's Roman going to react to that next week of him following orders and not touching Roman or Solo or LA Knight or Solo like he told him to? But is Roman going to be okay with that? That whole thing now is got new layers in it.
And they put out something on social media after the cameras went off of Raw where it's, Roman was kind of staring at him. Jacob gets out of the ring and Roman's just like, really? The hell? And Jacob just walks away, like still like hands crossed in the front and all that. It's everything. So I mean, it's interesting to see where they go.
I honestly would love to see him and Jacob reunite. Let's not do the MFT thing again ever, but them together just as a duo I love tag team wrestling as it is. Those two together is like a Wild Samoans type of thing, but more updated. Would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, Tori popped in. I didn't see her pop in. Hi. Hold on.
In like different places that you saw me.
Hold on.
I saw you in the chat, and I was like, that's why I was looking down. And I was texting Mike. I was like, maybe he's not on that screen and doesn't see her.
Well, no, so that screen's up here, and I don't look at that screen because the other camera stuff's right here, so I'm not looking up there. Anyway, the person who has joined us obviously is the human wrestling rumor detector, the Duchess of Wait What, and the woman most likely to ask the question nobody else wants to ask. Tori, hey Tori, welcome back in. Appreciate you.
That's fair. That's fair.
We were just
Part of popping in was I hadn't seen Big Mike in a hot minute, so
What's going
There
on?
we go. The 3-person booth. WWE can do it, so can we. Of course, they failed at it. We'll do better.
Ours is entertaining. Ours is just entertaining.
That's valid.
Well, at least those two are.
No, just the one. I just do the prep. We were just talking about the Bloodline storyline from yesterday. Did you get to watch any of Raw, Tori?
I caught some of the Hello.
I caught like a third of
Can you
that.
hear me?
You were cutting in and out.
Okay.
Yeah, it broke up a little bit.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Better?
Yep.
Okay. I caught some of Raw at the gym, but I haven't finished it. I saw them like show up with Solo, but I haven't seen what happens yet.
Okay. So basically, I mean, we're just saying that, the Bloodline storyline obviously has gone on so far, but at least now there's some new elements to it that are at least making it a little different than it was before. So hopefully that'll keep getting it a little more entertaining as we go along. But yeah, so it looks like
My biggest worry is they're going to force them into. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying that it looks like we're going towards Roman Reigns and LA Knight. That's the end result now of getting him there, unless we swerve and put Solo in there, because obviously with what happened yesterday with Solo, you could make a case for those two going at it too. Just kind of depends on where we're going to go with it.
But it does.
My
It is
biggest
an
thing
interesting point. Sorry, go ahead, Tori.
My biggest thing with the Bloodline is I know we're headed to Survivor Series again. How are you going to do this?
Yeah.
Like, who's left?
Yeah, I would imagine the Tongans probably join in the Bloodline this part. Haku brings them in, and that makes their 5, especially after what happened with Solo. And then Solo and LA Knight, I guess, have to put together a team. Maybe Royce Keys comes back for that. He gets a little time off after his beatdown.
Yeah.
I don't know who else you put with those guys. That's kind of the hard part there for a 5-person War Games team.
Have Jacob do the turn. It's the only thing I could think.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But yeah, so it looks like that's where we're going with that. We also have some things changing on Raw, which is really kind of nice to see. We have recently kind of a WCW cruiserweight feel going on, because we've had all these luchadors show up, doing a little bit different thing on Raw, keeping it a little bit fresh. What have you guys thought about that?
I mean, we talked about it on our show. Other than the fact that Dom isn't in it, and Dom kind of got screwed in the whole thing. I mean, you've got the AAA Mega Champion and former IC Champion losing to Dragon Lee clean last week, and it's just other than that part, it's been really entertaining. The matches themselves have been entertaining. Why you don't have people like that in it as well, it baffles me a little bit.
Because we don't know how to book AAA like AAA. That's what it comes down to. Someone posted online earlier a picture, and it was a face swap of Doofy from Scary Movie, and it's Dom's face in both the pictures. So you have the picture of him as Doofy with the drool, and then underneath that later when he like smoking a cigarette and looks cool, and it's like, that's funny because that's WWE booking and AAA booking. That's how exactly that is for Dom. They're treating him like a doofus on the main roster, and they really need to just do what they're doing. Like it's the same thing that we had with Grande Americano. That was a joke on the main roster.
They don't know what to do with Dom because he's already better than his dad.
I mean,
And
you're not
anything
wrong.
they do, they feel like they're disrespecting Ray. You're not. He's just better.
No, you're not, especially not after last night. They had a IC belt match with him and Chad Gable, and Ray's still moving like he's 20. Like I don't know what stem cells or what babies he's eating, but you know he's killing it.
Literally, apparently. I haven't seen the match yet. Gable is Sean. He can get a good match out of anybody, regardless of the fact that they're 126 and came over on a Conestoga wagon. It doesn't matter. But they don't know how to book Dom because he's too good. I mean, I'm not sped. I'm not riding for Dom, but the fact is, you can't deny that the fat dude is just really good.
He is. He's so good at such a young age, and like they did a clip the other day of it. You know, it's just been 5 years since he's started, and
That's
how young
so
and
crazy.
little he looked back then to how he's just incorporated this entire new character and has killed it ever since. And he's probably going to be those ones. Let's be honest. He probably will never officially be a face because he's just one of those that it's so fun for him just to be the sleazy bad guy. We might get one good little like where the fans are behind him, but then he'll turn on them again shortly after that.
He's the Miz. He's the Miz. The Miz is one of the best heels they've ever had, and we kept having him pull a Big Show. Leave him a fucking heel. It's where he's the best.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for lack of a better comparison, Eddie Guerrero. I mean, everybody loved Lie, Cheat, and Steal, and yeah, you'll cheer him every now and then, just because of who he is and who the gimmick is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can lie, cheat, and steal, but if you're going against a bad guy, everybody's going to cheer you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to change Dom. All you have to do is change his opponent. Like right now, if you have him go against Obafemi, everybody's going to boo it. If you have him go against Braun Breaker, everybody's going to cheer him because everybody's mad at Braun Breaker right now.
Well,
So
and
that's really all you need to do.
We kind of had that in AAA because there was a minute there where they were teasing him and Grande Americano being together. And then he turns on Grande later, but like the fans down there loved him at that moment. He was top babyface at that point. And all he had to do was just change and go, nope, I'm attacking him. And then now we're back to he's a piece of shit. Like he can turn it on a dime like that. And it's so great. Speaking of the Miz, we brought up the Miz there. Apparently, we've got some information about the Milwaukee Brewers pitcher, Jacob Misiorowski. I hope I'm saying that right. He's appearing on the September 28th Monday Night Raw. Apparently, so his nickname is The Miz, and The Miz and The Miz both had a little bit of a confrontation during a talk show, and so there is possibly plans that they might be doing something between these two. I hate that once again we're putting a celebrity possibly in a bigger spot. However, if you're going to do it with anybody, The Miz, I'm kind of okay with that.
Hang on. Andy Kaufman called. He wants his gimmick back. The fuck? What? Why? Why? You have this roster. Oh my God. Why do we keep doing this?
Because box office.
Because they're going to be in town, and you want to sell 10 more tickets to anybody that may be a fan.
It is ridiculous at some point of how many things. Like we're finally getting Cody versus Randy, and I love the fact that we're getting that without a Jelly Roll and a Pat McAfee attached to this story.
Don't say that too loud because that may change. There's still a couple weeks before that match happens.
Bob Orton may wheelchair his way up here and start doing some stuff. We don't know.
He's still going to have that cast on too.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, I'm dipping. I just came in to say hey because I hadn't seen y'all in a while. I just had a moment to pop in. So
okay,
Big Mike,
always great to see you. Yes, ma'am.
Come join us anytime. We have an interview Thursday. Yes,
we do have an interview Thursday. That is correct.
I'll
It'll
be
be
here.
KJ Valentine,
I
the
will be here.
Chaos Clown himself.
Right?
Nice.
All right. Y'all have a good show.
Tori, thanks for popping in.
Bye.
You go from this clown to a real clown. There you go.
So yeah, I mean, we said our piece about it. What are you thinking about another celebrity storyline possibly happening?
So the celebrity thing, I don't want him to do it every week. Much like Tori said, it does get old after a while. But like when you're in that hometown, and if that's the only time he's going to show up, and there's just going to be an altercation, it's going to be with somebody like The Miz, or if you bring somebody that everybody loves, and it's with a Danhausen or something
Right.
like that, and it's a small segment of the show, I'm okay with it. Apparently the guy's a huge wrestling fan. We actually, because Sped brought it up on our show on Friday, and that was my first question: is one, does he even know the product? Because I'm tired, and I'm especially tired of celebrities that, and luckily it doesn't happen as much now, that have no clue what wrestling is or WWE is, and they just
Mhm.
want to have a name out there. At least this kid's a wrestling fan, from what I understand. I
The
don't
one
know him.
the one that always sticks out to me is Piven when he was there, and he talked
Yes.
about Summerfest going on that weekend. It's like, come on, man! Like, it's 2 words that you have to remember:
Yeah.
summer and slam. That's it. So yeah, just
So, I mean,
know something
as
about the product
one-offs,
before you come in.
yeah, as one-offs, I'm okay with it as long as they're fans, and we're doing something for the fans. But I don't want, like, I don't want him to be at SummerSlam or next year. I don't want him to be at Survivor Series or Money in the Bank. Like, no, that needs to be for your talent. But one segment on a Raw, I wish it wasn't going to be something that you're bringing the Miz over for one time only kind of thing.
Mhm.
That's kind of annoying because obviously the Miz has been on SmackDown forever with all that going on.
Well, and how do
But
we bring him back in? Because last I saw, he was a electrocuted zombie. That's
well, they did have him on like the pre-show with
Yeah.
Kathy, so there at least we've seen him be real, and he did mention that, which was kind of funny, that he'd been a zombie for the past few weeks. So at least the audience has seen him unzombie like. I still don't know that we've seen Kit, so who knows what's going to happen with him.
Yeah.
But at least we've seen the Miz talk and be normal after the fact, after the Danhausen effect.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's what's wrong with Dom. Maybe this is really zombie Dom, and we just didn't see that segment.
We just didn't know. Yeah. I mean, he had that run-in with Danhausen too, so maybe that's part of the curse. I don't know. The good thing about it is that it's not officially confirmed yet that that's actually going to happen. It's just kind of rumor and innuendo because of what happened on that talk show, of them having some back and forth, some tete-a-tete. So maybe that's something they're going to look at. I will say if it's also something that we're building as a whole, like I like the fact that we started this in a real environment and then it's going to bleed to a storyline. I'm more okay with that because then it makes it something that's bringing people in and not just we have a celebrity that's on there on the show and the only people that know are the people already watching the show. It makes me think of like Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone back in the day. Like they were going on talk shows and talking about wrestling storyline, bringing in those people that don't watch wrestling, but they're like, hey, I'm going to be at the Omni wrestling, the DDP next week. Come watch me. Okay. Those people that like that person are going to follow that person, at least take a look at it. Worst case scenario, they turn it on and turn it right back off. It'll be just like an episode of WCW in the 2000s.
Ooh.
It was bad. But speaking of things that are possibly happening with celebrities, AEW All In plans seem to be coming into focus, which I'm really glad to hear that because the last pay-per-view that they had, it was up until like the week before that apparently they were still shifting around ideas of what was going to actually happen. I'm glad we are at least trying to nail down something right now. The expected main event has reportedly been Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay currently, which we're seeing that built already. We saw a little bit of that even built a little bit more at the last Collision, where Ospreay actually admits that he liked being in the Death Riders. And so that kind of brings that tension of him and Kenny. So that's a good way to do it. There were rumors that MJF might be pushed into an All In main event before Beach Break, but the Supplied report says that the rumors were false for that. It's always been a talk of him and Andrade. Obviously, Andrade's taking a little bit of time off right now because of a potential kind of injury. It hasn't really been a big confirmation on what he's injured with or how long he could be out. And the last thing I saw was that it's a potential injury, which means he could just be taking it easy just in case. I don't want to get hurt, so I'm going to step back a little bit and heal whatever's hurting. We've got Darby Allin versus...
If you're hurt or you're injured. Like, he may be hurt right now. So
right.
He's taking some off so he doesn't get injured.
Exactly. You got Darby Allin versus Kevin Knight. Had reportedly been discussed as well, although it has not been confirmed whether that match is still being planned or not. We've also seen Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale start building up for the AEW World Championship. That's reportedly been in the plan for months, which we kind of see that. Obviously, that was derailed for a little bit when Willow got hurt, but the fact that she got back just in time to be a part of the Owen, go through that whole process, glad to see all that happen for her. But it looks like we're back on track for that. Obviously, we're building also Cope and Christian versus the Young Bucks. Despite fan fantasy booking possibly involving the Motor City Machine Guns, FTR, or any of those, does not look like they're going to be part of it. In fact, actually, the Machine Guns, to me, like, you kind of need to put them on a milk carton at this point because they showed up and then just disappeared. They went back to Detroit. I don't know. I'd love to see them in the ring at some point, but it looks like they just kind of came in for the pop right now, and then I don't know what we're going to do with them.
I mean, I'd love to see them in like a number one contenders match with, FTR, them, and maybe a mystery team to be named. and you wonder who it could be. That would be kind of cool, and make it a number one contenders match. But at this point, leave that title match the way it is.
Absolutely.
It's been building for a while now. Yeah.
It looks like we got a confirmation. Stampede says AEW TNT title false count anywhere match between Kevin Knight and Darby Allin. So glad that's been announced. I'm not a huge Darby fan, but I'm becoming a massive Kevin Knight fan, and so I'd love to see him and Darby go at it, just because it's such a juxtaposition between the two different types of styles that they have there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like watching a train wreck. You don't want to watch, but you can't look away for some reason. Pretty much every Darby Allin match to me.
Yep. There's also Divine Dominion versus the Brawling Birds. It's been reportedly been planned for almost a year at this point. And there is also a potential bring in. There was a little bit of teasing from Swerve Strickland of two certain people possibly coming in, heavily making people think that possibly Austin Creed and Kofi are expected to join AEW really soon. And the last rumors that we've heard about that is that it's all but done. Like, the only thing that it hasn't done is they haven't announced it yet, but they have signed. They are there. They're just waiting for the moment to bring them out and make it an announcement. Obviously, I'd love if the boys went there. I thought that, I hate the term ball dropped, but that was a ball drop, in my opinion. The cornerstone of your tag team division, and you just let them go because you're like, take half your paycheck. No.
Yeah. I don't know anybody that would take that deal.
Yeah. Well, and when Tori and I talked about it, like, it'd be one thing if it was at a negotiation spot. Like, they hit the end of their contract. We need to renegotiate your deal now that we're ending your contract. That's one thing. But you're halfway through your contract and they're like, you're going to take half your paycheck. No?
Yeah.
No, I got a contract that says the next 3 years.
Yeah, that's not the way that works.
Yeah. So it does look like they're possibly coming in, though. Obviously, I'd love to see them in there. And being with Swerve would be in a very interesting position for them. It has them immediately come in on a very high end of the card. With the storyline he's going through right now, it'd be a good back and forth with them as far as to ease into the tag team division as well. So I know I'd love to see it pop in. I'm confused of what we could call ourselves. That's the only thing that's really getting me, because obviously you can't call them the New Day. I think they during that little animated thing, they said Breaking Dawn, which that's not terrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
It doesn't fit the New Day thing, so like to me, then you have to kind of change obviously the shtick, but it'd be kind of fun to see.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited. I want to see him there so bad. I just want to see Kofi and Xavier back in the ring,
Absolutely.
or Austin, whatever he goes with. I just want to see him back in the ring. I miss, because I was a huge fan of the heel turn
Yeah.
until WWE decided to flush it down in the toilet. And I wish they'd have done more with that. And I hope that when they come into AEW, it fits that same mold. I don't want to see the bright New Day. I want to see two guys come in as heels and like show me a little bit of a darker side. Continue what you started there.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily because I want to see WWE get continued in that story, but I think it was cool.
Yeah, it was a cool story to have that they kind of just made a mess of, um, including Big E into it. Like I understand why he had to be part of that conversation, but the way they built it, making it seem like there was going to be some involvement from Big E, and then it just doesn't happen. You just have him kind of, talking crap on the backside while he's on the pre-shows, and never gets comeuppance for anything after what happened. Like that to me was a falter of that. There should have been some way to bring that in. I would even have been fine if they would have turned him with them and he just is their manager. He's the heater on the outside. I'd be okay with that. But
Or even if he stayed at the desk and he was just their voice at the desk, like
yeah,
in between shows and matches, when he's on the pre-show, he's clearly heel Big E as part of the New Day.
yeah,
But he's kind of their mouthpiece at that point, because obviously they don't need a mouthpiece in the ring, because both Kofi and Austin or Xavier, whichever one you go with, both are very good on the mic. So as much as I love Big E, they wouldn't have needed him in the ring, but have him as that mouthpiece in between.
yeah. That'd been nice too. Got a couple of things in the chat here. So let's see. We got Bobby says, I'd like to see Motor City Machine Guns versus the Young Bucks in the future. Absolutely. They'd kill it. Stampede says, this will be a whole new version of Kofi and Austin. Absolutely. You were mentioning the names. I think they've pretty much said during signings that it's going to be Austin Creed and Kofi. Obviously, can't say Kingston because that's owned by that, but apparently he can still use Kofi, and so he's fine just using that as the one. I think it'd be kind of cool if they did it similar to what they did with when Dustin and Cody were together in AEW, and Cody couldn't use Rhodes, but Dustin could, and so you had Cody and Dustin Rhodes. Like, if we want to say that Kofi's like, because they've been brothers for a long time, you want to say it's Kofi Creed, use Kofi and Austin Creed.
Yeah,
it'd be kind of cool. And Extreme Chick says, I miss Kofi and Austin on my screen. I miss Austin completely. He is my bucket list of someone I want to meet someday. Just the change in the business he made just by being himself. Being a guy in the back with a PlayStation changed the entire environment in the backstage area. And now everybody's got their handhelds and they've got their gaming systems, and they're doing all that now rather than drinking, partying, drugs, and all that stuff. So it'd be kind of cool to see that. We talked a little bit about Andrade. Obviously, Andrade is out for kind of the moment, but we are told that it is just a break. He's not being out for anything other than he just wants to take a rest a little bit. Very similar, like he obviously has suffered an injury before, and that's kind of what the speculation is about this. But we're being told it's nothing to be concerned about, that he will be back. So that's really good to see. I would hate to see him be put on the shelf after he just caught fire. Like, you finally got something over and then turn around and get hurt would be a horrible spot for him.
Yeah, and then the rumored stuff with MJF coming up. I mean, that's going to be a huge match. I mean, just because MJF is such a polarizing figure, and him coming in with his new gimmick, and like you said, just caught fire. That's one of the matches I would be looking forward to see. If it does happen at All In, if he's good to go.
Absolutely.
That's one of the matches. Like if I buy the pay-per-view, if I watch, that's going to be one of the matches that I watch for.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a freaking awesome match.
And the implications of that too, because you've got MJF doing, which quite frankly, it's CM Punk's gimmick. I just want to say that because it kind of is the real world champion. He's coming out with his own world championship.
Yeah.
If Andrade beats him, what does that mean for him in the championship role? If he beats Andrade, then that solidifies him as someone that should be going up for the world title again. So it'd be kind of cool to see that.
And it would be a cool spot too, especially for Andrade's character, that if he beats MJF, he takes that belt and just parades around every week.
Or like, you're not the champion. He's like, how you know?
Yeah, exactly. How you know I'm not the champion? Just
at least he's not trying to purchase Sting's son anymore. That's always fun. How much for your boy? What? Your boy over there. How much for the boy? You trying to buy a human being, sir? That's I don't think we can do that anymore. Bobby says, imagine MJF going after Andrade's AEW National Championship. Absolutely. Make him try a belt collector type of thing. Like, he's going to get all the championships because he's the real champ. That'd be kind of cool. Stampy says Andrade's record right now, 37-8 record this year, 6 different title reigns. Yeah, he's killing it over there. I'm glad he's finally settled into a role that he's getting what he deserves. Speaking of people getting what they deserve,
all the backstage distractions being gone help.
Absolutely. Lucha Underground is back on the menu specifically for UK fans. Now they've got the rights to be able to watch it over there. The series originally aired on the El Rey network and was later made available on Netflix. Vampiro announced in 2020 that he had effectively been canceled and would not be returning, but now UK fans with Amazon Prime have access to the complete 4-season library, which they hadn't had that previously. I'm all about that getting out there. I think that was a great alternative to wrestling. I think it was a fun time. I wish someone would pick that back up.
Yes.
Because it was so much fun. We kind of, like we talked about earlier with, like, if the Wyatt family would have AAA, like that environment, that Mexican environment lets you have those weird gimmicks. Like there was Astro, which was, a guy that came from space, and you had a dragon, and you had Marty the Moth, and then he had his sister, which was Chelsea Green. But it was her as Mariposa. Like, so much fun to see all that happen, and then have the random, like, big names come in, where you had Ray pop in and Johnny Nitro pop in, and like those types of things was a lot of fun. I'd love to see that happen, more of it.
Yeah, definitely. I was a huge fan of Lucha Underground, just all the different stuff going on. Obviously going back and watching some of those matches, probably the most famous one now with Penta and Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
Especially with everything that's happened in WWE now, it's probably the most rewatched match from Lucha Underground, I would say. But they were killing it
Absolutely
for years and loved it.
Well, and the people that we got out of that, because like we have AR Fox that's killing it in AEW. We have Ricochet that, obviously was killing it in WWE, now in AEW doing it there as well.
I was kind of hoping when he went to AEW that he would bring Prince Puma back. Like I was hoping we would see him come back as that, just for at least one match. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, just to have a little fun with it. It'd be kind of fun. All right, last little story that we have for today is the Good Brothers. We talked about it a little bit earlier. They captured the MLW Tag Team Championships on the August 15th episode of MLW Fusion. They defeated the Skyscrapers, Bishop Dreyer, who was, now we found out it was taped, but he was there with Donovan Dijak to kind of finish out that story. And now, obviously, Dreyer is up here carrying a fur belt and riding a motorcycle. So, but good for them to have that. And then Gallo's son actually got to come out because he's working some MLW shows as well. Got to go out in there and kind of have fun with his dad. I will say the wrestling fan in me was waiting for his son to low blow him, and then like AJ Styles kid comes out, and you find out they're a tag team and they're going to go for the belts. Because I can already see that happening at some point. Don't trust anybody, even your own kid.
Yeah, that would have been really cool, just to see the next generation of I guess Good Brothers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right. Real quick, we're gonna do a quick Dubby ad, and
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Kicking out at 2 intern Ace Finley here. And before Michael and Tori hit the ropes and dive into the latest in the world of wrestling, let's tag in one of our show's partners, W Energy. If you're looking to fuel your grind, whether it's late night booking sessions, streaming, or just surviving Monday, W Energy's got your back. No crash, no jitters, just clean focus.
all right. Oh, I thought I turned off the news thing. Now it's yelling at me already. That's
Hashtag pay Ace Finley.
Yeah, that's why I should pay Ace Finley.
Bringing it back.
That's right.
Hashtag pay.
All right, time for a little bit of fun with Who's Better. With what's going on with some of the people in wrestling right now, I feel like some people are being punished. Like we talked about Dom Mysterio. For some reason, we can't get him to get booked well on the main roster. I would kind of wonder if something's going on in the back end to have them not want to push him as much as they're pushing him in AAA. But so sometimes punishment isn't a fine or suspension, or it's losing your match or getting humiliated on television or suddenly finding yourself nowhere near the plans that you had from the major start of your career. From locker room heat to creative decisions that appeared to send a message, we're looking at 10 famous examples where WWE talent who themselves got in management's doghouse. So we're going to do 10 careers entering Gauntlet, but only one can answer the question of who better. So first one.
Before we get started, are we doing this just because you're being punished by having to do the show with me? Should I read into this somehow?
No, but that's a better tie-in than I had. First one we got Rob Van Dam losing the dual championship. So the infraction for this is just weeks after reaching the pinnacle of his career in 2006 by simultaneously winning the WWE Championship and holding the ECW World Championship. Van Dam was arrested for marijuana possession, causing him the next week to have to drop those titles. So we have that one versus the back slap heard around the world, Titus O'Neil. Awkwardly having an involvement with Vince McMahon following Raw. Titus was suspended what WWE initially announced as a 60-day extension because he slapped Vince McMahon on the back.
I mean, so I guess if I'm looking at which one was worse, it's obviously Titus, because I mean, let's be honest, if you're shocked that Rob Van Dam got arrested for marijuana, are you even watching at this point?
Yeah.
So I would
his
definitely have
gimmick.
to say exactly. I mean, I would think the same thing of like a Matt Riddle or somebody like that. Oh no.
Got caught with weed and
say,
water's wet.
And so yeah, definitely Titus getting suspended for giving somebody a pat on the back is definitely worse.
All right, so we got Titus O'Neil versus Batista, who got a $100,000 fine because he famously bladed during a WWE match despite the company's restrictions on blood during a PG era.
I would still go with Titus. Look, I get it; it's a stupid rule, but if you're told ahead of time not to do it and you choose to do it, then hey, you man, accept your consequences. I can't really say anything on anything bad about it because he knew it was going to happen.
All right. We got Titus O'Neil versus The Miz being banished from the locker room for eating chicken over someone's bag.
The dumbest thing I've ever heard in wrestling ever. So I don't know if this is going to be a spoiler to the rest of these because I don't know what else coming next, but we're definitely going to go with The Miz on that one.
Yep.
Actually make that man change in a bathroom because he ate chicken.
The thing is, I saw this. They had a show here in Tulsa, and like I saw Miz going to the bathroom of the BOK Center. And I'm like, what is he doing? And then come to find out, well, it's because he got kicked out of the damn locker room. Like, that is amazing.
Him some chicken.
All right, so we got The Miz versus Lana being pulled from television because she decided to announce that her and Rusev were actually a couple.
As stupid as that is, I mean, getting banned from the locker room wins that. It's The Miz.
All right. We got The Miz versus Baron Corbin losing Money in the Bank. Corbin reportedly developed backstage heat following a public disagreement involving concussion-related comments.
So I mean, I guess those are fairly similar because you're getting killed for something backstage, but I'm still going to go with The Miz.
Sorry, my kiddo just popped in the chat. It's not that it's broken. I just can't see it. They're asking about our TikTok chat. I don't get to see it on the scroll that's here, so I don't see it.
You
Unfortunately,
don't have one of your 37 screens on TikTok? What the hell?
no. I usually do, but it's always over here.
For those who don't know, like on the other side of the camera where Mike is, it looks like a Buffalo Wild Wings. There's like 37 TVs. I'm
No,
surprised somebody doesn't bring him food every so often and ask him if he needs to refill his drink.
This
It's
isn't
pretty dope
Stampede setup. I'll do that next time, kiddo. But I appreciate it. Thank you for coming in, kid. All right, we got you stuck with the Miz, right? That's who you stuck with. All right, we got the Miz
and his chicken
versus Bart Gunn in the Brawl for All. Gunn unexpectedly defeated WWE's favored fighter, Dr. Death Steve Williams, during the Brawl for All tournament. So for that, they fed him to Butterbean.
This one's tough because getting fed to Butterbean is a punishment in itself and is embarrassing as hell. I'm gonna have to edge out the Miz though, because I changing in public bathrooms, especially in a stadium. Public bathrooms can get kind of rank, especially if you've got 20,000 or 30,000 people in one of them. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna stick with the Miz there.
Okay. All right, so we got the Miz versus Steve Austin. The walkout. Austin walked away from WWE in 2002 after becoming increasingly frustrated with creative decisions, specifically being put in a no build fight with Brock Lesnar.
Again, I'll kind of go back to the Batista thing. I mean, you kind of chose to walk out, so that's your own decision. So the Miz got put in a bathroom because of
chicken,
I guess. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And just
who knew that
KFC.
eating a piece of chicken was gonna get you put in a bathroom for 6 months or so?
Well, and according to him, there wasn't even a bag there.
Yeah.
So,
and as somebody who loves chicken, that could have very easily happened to me.
That's right. All right, we got the Miz versus Paul Heyman, the December to Dismember fallout. Heyman strongly disagreed with WWE's creative direction for the ECW revival, particularly booking the December to Dismember pay-per-view, which essentially killed WWE's ECW run.
I'm gonna go with this December to Dismember because that was just horrible, and to me that was a lot worse than having to change in a bathroom.
I don't disagree. The only thing I remember from that at all is I remember the poster for it, because it was Sandman's arm sticking out of a chimney. Like, that's the only thing I remember about December to Dismember. I don't remember anything that happened on the card. And come to think of it, I don't think Sandman was even there.
I don't think so.
So it's like, why is he even on the thing? All right. Yeah. So we got December to Dismember, Paul Heyman's thing there against Ricky Steamboat, the family gimmick demotion in 1987, shortly after winning the Intercontinental Championship from Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3. Steamboat requested time away from the road to be there for the present of the birth of his son. Because of that, he lost the title to the Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah, we're gonna go. We're Steamboat. I mean, we talk about mental health a lot in work-life balance, and I know I'm bringing it down by being serious for a second, but I mean that's 100% worse. Getting punished for wanting to see the birth of your kid.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've
something
seen
that hopefully would never happen today.
I would hope so. Well, I don't think we would. Like, obviously, like in the fan base, we're frustrated over what's happening with Street Profits, but then we found out that Bianca was with child, and so it's like, okay, that's okay then. We pulled them off the screen because he needed to be there for the kid. That makes perfect sense. Absolutely do that. All right, well, whether it's losing championships, getting suspended, or being banished from the locker room for eating fucking chicken, WWE has had plenty of ways to send a message to his performers. Which punishment was the most outrageous, the most justified, or the biggest example of management saying you're in the doghouse? There's only one way to settle it, and that's for you to put in the chat who you think who better. All right. Get up there. There we go. For the Bring It to the Table, which my slideshow didn't pop up there. There we go. I watched GCW Homecoming night 1 and 2, which to me did about as well as SummerSlam night 1 and night 2. There's a lot of good stuff in it. I don't want to say that. Some of the highlights of what happened there is we do have a new GCW World Heavyweight Champion. Atticus Kroger's 267-day reign was taken away from Joseph Sawyer, which, if you don't know that name, it's Joe Gacy from formerly WWE. He made his return to GCW, and on the night of his return, won that title from Kogar. So congratulations to him for being back in it. He had a nice little speech afterwards talking about how he's reining in a new era for GCW. I think that's an overused term, so I don't know what I think about that. But it was really cool to see that happen.
Triple H.
That's right. A new era. AJ Orso and Sam Stackhouse also finally captured the tag team championships from Busta and the Brain, who have had a generous run with that as well. Not sure if they're losing that because they're going to be spending more time in AEW because they are contracted over there. So maybe they'll stop Moonlight and we'll actually see a tag team division, especially with a possibility of a New Day happening there. So that'd be kind of fun to see the tag team division be focused on for once. Little tidbit, Sam Stackhouse, we're going to have him on the show next Thursday. So we're going to talk to him about his GCW tag team win and his time in the business and his weight adventure. He's if you're not following him, follow him over on Instagram. He's trimming down and taking his health seriously, which I know you and I both appreciate. Like we're doing that ourselves, so it's good to see him doing it as well. I did get to meet him when GCW was here in Tulsa, and just getting to tell him how much I appreciate seeing a big guy in wrestling. You know, it's all about representation, and I know as a cis white man, I'm probably not the one to talk about representation because our representation is everywhere. But the idea that it's someone with a normal physique, it's not someone that's, you know, muscle bound, and, you know, we're not talking about a Brian Cage here. We're talking about a dude that looks like me up there wrestling. So it's something I always appreciated. I was always a big fan of the Big Boss Man and the Bam Bam Bigelow's and all that because it was someone that was like me up there.
Yeah, I mean, I've famously said that Mick Foley and Kevin Owens are two of my favorites for that specific reason right there. I mean,
absolutely. Otis Kogar, which is also part of the Level Little family, is down there with Atticus. He's the only one that actually ended up keeping his belt. He actually fought 2 matches, one the first night and one the second night, so he played double duty, won both of those matches to keep the Ultra Violent Championship. Coming into the weekend,
Gunther, at least he can win both matches.
That's right. Why not? Coming into the weekend, Vandal 48 looked like it might walk out even in more control than what they had, but it appears like that landscape has drastically changed because the only one that's still got a belt is Otis, and he's actually just been challenged by Vipress, which I have to think. There we go. So that may be something coming to an end because they're really pushing Vipress right now. And so it's a definite possibility that she might walk away with that championship, and then Vandal 48 doesn't have any belts, which would be kind of fun to see. What do you think of Sawyer popping in?
I love it for him. I mean, after the way, you know, we've talked a few times on this show about the Wyatt Six and how they were, I don't want to say mishandled, but it's such a touchy situation with that gimmick. And to see how it kind of went downhill and kind of down the drain, I'm glad to see him kind of get back to his roots and come in and do something he enjoys and have fun and winning that title in the first time. And hopefully he's right. Hopefully he, you know, brings in a new era, for lack of a better term, for GCW. I mean, I don't get to watch GCW as often. I do need to go back and watch the Homecoming there. I've seen a lot of highlights and stuff on X. Shout out Danny Loves Wrestling, one of the people I follow who's posted a lot of pictures from it and all that.
Yep.
This makes me definitely want to go back and watch the show and with him winning. But
yep.
Yeah, good for him, man. I'm glad he's doing well.
If you don't have a way to watch it, then just let's talk after the show.
Okay.
We'll get you to watch it. Yeah, it's really cool that he's there. Him coming in, also, he got to pay a lot of homage to Bray, which I know he really enjoyed. Him coming in started with a lot of QR codes and the mystery and intrigue, and then it was announced that Atticus knew who it was, and so then he said, "Get your ass out here," and then he shows up. So it was kind of cool. He got to do that. His finisher was the Sister Abigail DDT, so paying a little bit of homage to him and to Alexa, who retransformed that move, Sister Abigail, into something else. It was kind of nice to see that as well. He won a lot because Drake Younger came back, which that's something in itself that's a little controversial. Drake Younger had made some very inappropriate comments and things back in the day about GCW and the fans. He had a match the second night, and he did kind of do an apology in public. It sounded very sincere, and I'm a big proponent of, like, when you're young, you do stupid shit, and sometimes you got to pay up for it. And so if he is sincere saying that he's sorry for the stuff that he said, I'm willing to go ahead and let that be that and let him go back to what he's doing. They came back in a death match and killed it. Like, he was great in the ring. I can't deny that. So hopefully that means that he's made a turn, and they're gonna put a little bit behind him. The main event, though, that we were looking for is Joey Janela versus Marco Stunt. If Joey Janela did not win, Joey Janela was going to quit wrestling in the ring. That did not happen. Marco Stunt lost that. Surprise, surprise. And then Joey Janela actually then fought on night 2 in a tag team match with the wonderful person who helped him out, which was Flying Ryan, excuse me. There we go. Took me a second. Which is a little kid. Reminds me a lot of, I don't know if you saw Big Stevie Cool back in the day, when Stevie was in ECW with Raven. Has a little,
The name doesn't sound familiar.
has a little half shirt, very lanky looking, did a super kick. So it just reminded me so much of that character, that gimmick. I think I've said this week after week, GCW continues to show me, though, that they are what we talk about on the show as far as the buffet. There is some stuff, I'll be totally honest, that I skipped through. And the reason being is that I am not a fan of death matches. I'm just not. To me, it's gratuitous. I understand the people want to do that, but like the Nick Gage stuff, he had a match. It was a death match. It was a death match to end the second night. And I mean, they were brutal, and it was just, a bunch of light tubes and axe and barbed wire, and it's a lot. And it's just not something I'm into.
Yeah, that's one of the one I saw some of the highlights. He's like had him up on the ropes, and he's just like
literally with just a blade like cutting his forehead.
Yeah,
like that to me, that's a bit much. But I understand some people enjoy that, and they enjoy doing it, so that's fine. I don't have to talk shit about that. It's just not for me. But they had some great high flying matches there. Bustin' the Brain always do great as far as like in the ring wrestling stuff. So I got to see that stuff happen. KJ Orso killing it with this new character that he's had for a while, since getting rid of Fuego del Sol. So seeing that happen, him being there with Sam Stackhouse, doing a lot of big man stuff. Like, so there was something for everybody to watch on that night. And so I always highly recommend, if you haven't checked out GCW, check it out. And, like I said, you don't have to like everything on the show. Skip past the stuff you don't want to watch. That's fine. But, absolutely support those people. Stampede says Perry Saturn Moppy.
Oh, as far as wrestling punishments, probably, because that was apparently his punishment. Yeah.
Well, you had that one.
That would have been pretty high up there.
And then you had Chavo Guerrero with Pepe.
Oh,
the horse. Honestly, like, I think he killed that. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, the whole Moppy thing, you a lot of people don't see it as a punishment because it was entertaining.
Yeah, well,
I didn't mind it after a while.
It was chicken salad out of chicken shit. Like, they gave him something that's supposed to fail, and it worked.
Yeah, because it's Perry Saturn, and Perry Saturn's fucking crazy anyway.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you think about some of those gimmicks, like Eugene, right? Eugene should not work because you're making fun of mentally handicapped people. That's exactly what you're doing. But
Yeah.
people loved the character because Nick Dinsmore, the guy who played Eugene, was just so damn good at it that you look at him and he is just an endearing character, and people wanted
Well, I
to
mean,
support him.
You look at the El Grande Americano. We talked about it earlier. I mean, what that character has become from what it started
Oh yeah.
is a joke character, to catch heat, and now he's one of the most beloved characters in AAA down in
Mhm.
Mexico. Obviously, we've had the change of who's wearing the mantle. I don't know who it is now. I know it was Chad Gable because he said it was.
He
Whoever's wearing
officially
the
came
mask
out and said
now,
it was him.
yeah, whoever's wearing the mask now. I mean, they're doing a great job.
I
'Cause
will
they've
say
accepted
I
it.
do appreciate it. Have you seen his CVV interview that he did?
No, I have not.
So
I need to go back and watch it.
Chad held on to kayfabe, and God love him for that, because he did not say who Grande Americano was, but he
Right.
also alluded to, like, this was my thing before, and I was a little pissed that, like, I'm gone and he gets to take this, but he's taken it farther than I think I could have. And so, like, him giving that little bit of respect of, like, yeah, it was bad because you took my thing, but you killed
Yeah,
it.
with
So
all due respect to Chad Gable, I love Chad Gable. If he was still in the mask, there's no way that character is what it is today.
no. Well,
No chance.
and he's not what he is today, because having that, he talked about it on the interview, and he said it was like a switch flip, because like they're doing the back and forth in AAA, and he was like, Taker pulled me aside one day because he wasn't seeing out of me what he wanted to see, and it was bugging me. And he said something that just flipped a switch for me, and he was like, look across the ring at this man who has taken your entire life from you and ran with it. And he's like, at that moment, it made me realize, like, oh, that's how I should be treating this. He took everything from me because I left and he took it. Okay. And he's like, at that point, like, I was that pit bull. I was that bulldog just trying to kill him every time I saw him. Like, that's great. That's the way it should have been from the beginning. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and start closing this out. Before we do, though, Big Mike, thank you for being here. Tell the lovely people where they can find you.
Yes, sir. You see it right down there by my shoulder at _Big Mike 27. You can find me on there on all socials. You can also look that up on YouTube or look in the Run of Wrestling podcast right there below it. Make sure you go subscribe. We're pushing for 400. We're at, I think, 387 last time I looked. So we are, about 13 away from 400. Just a lot going on with not only Sped Rock Productions and with the Run of Wrestling podcast. And I put a post out yesterday, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If you're watching this, just check us out. If you like what you see, give us a sub. If you don't like what you see, find me on Twitter at _Mike27. I don't need promotion for the show. I want feedback. I've seen some of that. Stampede in particular gave me a very long kind of critique of our last show. Thank you for that. I read every single word and I love it. So thank you for that, all the positive and the constructive stuff that you put out. If you're still in here, Stampede, I want that from as many people as possible. My goal is to make our show the best possible. And I can't do that if I don't have somebody telling me, "Hey, stupid, this was dumb. I need you to change this. I need you to work on this. This was good, not this so much." So please, at _Mike27, shoot me a DM if you want. Because again, I'm not trying to get clicks. I'm not trying to get views, pubs, or anything. I want to get better. That's my goal. So just let me know what we can do. But if you do enjoy it, I would appreciate a sub just because it helps us build.
Absolutely. And it's a wonderful show. I watch it when I can myself. I'm having trouble sticking on the new day. It's like Friday will hit and someone has to remind me, oh yeah, they're on today. I have to quickly switch over.
And that's on me. I need to do better at promotion. That's one of the things I need to get better at, because like there should never be a question. That's one thing I've definitely got to get better at, is promoting the show.
Yeah. But it's a great show. I love watching you and Sped. It's a great dynamic. As you can tell from our show, I love when there's a good tandem of people together that has two different characteristics. It's we talked about at the very beginning of the show, me by myself, not entertaining at all because I don't have my partner to go off of. who brings out the entertainment. I bring the education, which is why I've been dubbed the brain. So it's really fun to watch you guys. I can't think of anything constructive to tell you. I think y'all are killing it. I've politely taken things from you guys. Is like
That's what it's all about.
looking at going, I'm gonna do that because that looks cool. So I appreciate the free feedback. But anyway, catch us on Kicking Out at 2 PC on all platforms. And if you want to join the No Sell Nation, make sure to grab your merch on our Etsy store. It's under the same name, at Kicking Out at 2 PC. Also, join the Gimmick Table Media Discord for great conversations, PLE watch-alongs, live reactions, and second screen fun when we do our joysticks and dropkicks gameplays. I do try to bring up as much pay-per-views as I can for those that don't have the ability to watch them. That's our secret, hush, hush, wink, wink, don't tell nobody. But if you're in the Discord, they're usually showing in there. And Stampede has his own channel as well, and he likes throwing in just kind of random stuff in there, like going in there and watching some of the Stardom stuff and such that he puts in there. So definitely go back and watch some of that stuff. But before we get out of here, quick last pop. Let's talk about exactly what we've been talking about this entire time, which is the buffet. Just look at what we've had in front of us lately. GCW giving us all sorts of different styles, characters, personalities. WWE experimenting now with things like bringing in the luchador style of wrestling to Raw, trying to revamp storylines and make them more entertaining. Things are changing in wrestling. They change all the time. So you might not love every dish, but kind of hang out and rewatch stuff and check stuff out again, because it may not be what it was before. I absolutely loved the 80s campy style stuff. My taste has changed over the years. However, going back and now seeing NWA do that kind of stuff, I'm kind of going back to it going, yeah, but that's kind of fun. I kind of like the idea of seeing this campy stuff. So go back and kind of revisit things, even if you think you're past it. Maybe you're here for big WWE spectacles. Maybe you're here for GCW. Maybe you're here for the lucha stuff, the technical stuff, the hardcore, the comedy, the tag, death matches, any combination of it, but there's room for all those flavors. And if wrestling companies are willing to put different things on the table, we should be willing to at least try them. And if you don't like it, move down the line, find something else that works for you. Don't tell anybody else that their plate is wrong just because you wouldn't order it. No tribalism. Wrestling is a buffet. Try something new, enjoy what you love, and let everybody else enjoy what's on their plate. And with that, we are officially kicking out. In the meantime and in between time, keep watching, keep talking, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.
We stand together with pride worldwide.